So over the past 12 months, there has been a roller coaster of emotions, a roller coaster of people's perspective on OnlyFans. Not just the app or the site of OnlyFans, not just the subscriptions and all the other statistics when it comes to OnlyFans, but people have been intrigued. I guess I could probably use that word, intrigued, right? They've become intrigued with the idea that OnlyFans brings, the quote-unquote dream that OnlyFans creates. But ladies and gentlemen, it is not all sunshine and rainbows on OnlyFans. Now, as you all know, I've interviewed three people that are OnlyFans content creators. And all three of them, they were successful at the time I interviewed them. I don't know if they're still successful. I know Kate Kennedy, I know for a fact, is still successful with her OnlyFans account because of her background, because she has experience in sex work. She has experience, and I hate using that term sex work, but whatever. It's 2021, right? Got to be, what's the word? Progressive? Who cares? But she has a background in sex work. The other two don't. And that's why I kind of really do want to. I'm really trying to get like a follow-up interview with Chris Rose to see if she's still successful on OnlyFans. Just to see how OnlyFans is going. But now that, even though there's still a little bit of confusion as to whether we're actually going to go back to quote-unquote normal this year or not. But I'm not here to talk about that. Not in this video. I'm here to talk about, what about the dark side? I wouldn't necessarily say the dark side, but the downside of OnlyFans. Well, I'm going to try and read this article to you guys. I'm going to try and make it quick. I don't want to make this too long, but I do want to go through. I do want to give you, because I believe there's like about 3 or 4 perspectives in this article from Jillian Friedman, however you say her name. But this comes from the New York Times. Savannah Benavides stopped working at her job as a medical biller in June to take care of her 2-year-old son after his daycare shut down. Needing a way to pay her bills, she created an account on OnlyFans, a social media platform where users sell original content to monthly subscribers and start posting photos of herself nude or in lingerie. Miss Benavides, 23, has made $64,000 since July. Enough not just to take care of her own bills, but to help family and friends with rent and car payments. That must be nice. It's more money than I ever had. It's more money than I ever made in any job, she said, which is what about 50% of the people that I've talked to that have OnlyFans, that's what they say. I have more money now. I have more money than I know what to do with. I've never heard anyone say that, but okay. Then we have Lexi Eisenberger, I believe is how you pronounce her name. Sorry if I'm butchering your names. Sorry. But Eisenberger was hoping for a similar windfall when she started an OnlyFans account in November. A restaurant worker in Billings, Montana, Miss Eisenberger, 22, has been laid off 3 times during the pandemic and was so in need of cash by October that she had to drop out of dental hygiene school. Sorry. After donating plasma and doing odd jobs, she still didn't have enough money to pay her bills. So at the suggestion of some friends, that's the way it starts, right? That's the way it starts. Getting suggestions from your friends. At the suggestion of some friends, she turned to OnlyFans. She has made only about $500 so far. Now, I do want to stop here and say, this is the downside. This is the part that no one tells you about OnlyFans. That not everyone is successful in this. Just because, you're shaking what your mama gave you on camera and charging people for it. I get it. I get that people out here are trying to hustle, but at the same time, it's just like, at what cost? Because you might end up like Lexi Eisenberger. where she creates an OnlyFans and is not that successful in it. Only made about $500. But guess what? You already showed your tits, your ass, your pussy, everything else. Everything else that you walk around in public covered up. Guess what? You did it all for $500. It's already out there. Someone took a screenshot. Someone saved it. It's gone. You can take down your OnlyFans tomorrow. Somebody's gonna have your fucking nudes. Which to me, it's weird, but whatever. Let's go on in this article. Is this her? Yeah. So this is Lexi Eisenberger. She's only made $500 so far on OnlyFans. When she started in October. So October, November, December, January. Yeah, that's not a lot. It's not a lot. OnlyFans, founded in 2016 and based in Britain, has boomed in popularity during the pandemic. As of December, it had more than 90 million users and more than 1 million content creators, up from 120,000 in 2019. The company declined to comment for this article. No shit. With millions of Americans unemployed, some like Miss Benavides and Miss Eisenberger are turning to OnlyFans in an attempt to provide for themselves and for their families. The pandemic has taken a particularly devastating toll on women and mothers, wiping out parts of the economy where women dominate: retail businesses, restaurants, and healthcare. Okay. I won't combat that, but whatever. The retail part I get. The healthcare and restaurant, it depends. But a lot of people are migrating to OnlyFans out of desperation, said Angela Jones, and an associate professor of sociology at the State University of New York at Farmingdale. These are people who are worried about eating. They're worried about keeping the lights on. They're worried about being evicted. This is true. This is all, I wouldn't say all, but that what I just read, that's facts. But for every person like Miss Benavides who is able to use OnlyFans as her primary source of income, there are dozens more, like Miss Eisenberger, who hoped for a windfall. Why do I keep using windfall? Anyways, who hoped for a windfall and ended up with little more than a few $100s and worries that the photos will hinder her ability to get a job. That's literally, yes, will hinder her ability to get a job in the future. I'm going to read that again. Listen closely. Miss Eisenberger, who hoped for a windfall and ended up with little more than just a few $100s and worries that the photos will hinder her ability to get a job in the future. Facts. That is facts, ladies and gentlemen. This is real stuff. They're not playing around with this stuff. They find out you got an OnlyFans, you're done. I used to work a job where they found out that one of our employees was a stripper and they fired her. Imagine if you got an OnlyFans where you're showing everything and probably getting paid more than what some strippers get. So, quote unquote, so she says, or Miss Jones said, of the explicit content online, she says, it is already an incredibly saturated market. The idea that people are just going to open up an OnlyFans account and start raking in the dough is really misguided. That's interesting too, because everyone I talk to, well, I won't say everyone, but the 3 women I interviewed on here, and it's right here on this channel. So go back and go into the interviews playlist, and they're right in there. The 3 women that I interviewed that started their OnlyFans said that they got a huge spike when they started theirs. Now, I don't know that to be factual, but it's coming from the horse's mouth, so I have to believe it. I have to go off of what they say it is. So with Chris Rose, she said that when she first started her OnlyFans, how much I think she said she made between like $1,200 and $1,600 in a week, or maybe in a month. I can't remember. First week or first month, one of those two. But still a lot of money regardless. Whether you get it the first week or in 4 weeks, that's a lot of fucking money to make off of OnlyFans. And off of your first month or week, you know? And then I talked to I always forget the other chick's name, the one from Australia. I interviewed her, same thing. And she's a sex therapist too, or a sex coach, one of those two, which I didn't even think was like a real thing until she told me. That interview, even though that interview was super short, that interview was interesting because she has a very interesting life. But anyways, and then obviously, Kate Kennedy, yeah, so you already knew she's gonna get because she was a porn star. And she's a comedian too, so her name is out there. Like her presence is known, not just in adult film industry, but in Hollywood. So that right there equals success on OnlyFans. Period. You're gonna have a cult following if you ever did mainstream porn, even if you did one scene. You're gonna have a cult. You're gonna have a cult audience, a cult following. Now to get back to this article, the most successful content creators are often models, and like I just said, porn stars, and celebrities who already have large social media followings. They can use their other online platforms to drive followers to their OnlyFans account. That's what we mentioned before here on Hab, where they offer exclusive content to those willing to pay a monthly fee, even personalized content in exchange for tips. OnlyFans takes a 20% cut of any pay. Some creators receive tips through mobile payment apps, which aren't subject to that cut. Miss Benavides earns most of her money this way. But many of the creators who have joined the platform out of dire financial need do not have large social media followings or any way to drum up consistent business. And as you all can see, like you look at these pictures, right? And although she's not showing anything, she's not showing any, nudity or anything like that, she's upkeeping her presence on social media to promote her OnlyFans. And this is Ellie Morocco or whatever, yeah. So, yeah, all right. So now it's about to tell us that, the fourth and final person. So Ellie Morocco of West Palm Beach, Florida, was laid off from her job as an office manager in July. Her unemployment checks don't cover her $1,600 monthly rent. Her $1,600 monthly rent. Also doesn't cover utility bills, food costs. So she joined OnlyFans in November. But Miss Morocco, 36. She's 36 years old. Let me tell you, she don't look bad for a 36-year-old. She had no social media presence to speak of when she joined the platform. She has had to gain subscribers one by one by posting pictures of herself on Instagram and on Twitter, and following up with people who like and comment on her post, encouraging each one to subscribe to OnlyFans. It's more challenging and time-consuming than she expected, and less financially rewarding. It's a full-time job on top of your full-time job. Looking for work, she said. Fans want to see you posting daily. You're always churning. You're always taking pictures to post. Well, welcome to Instagram. And also welcome to OnlyFans. That's what it is. It's continuing to post. That's how you keep your presence. She has made just $250 on a platform so far. That's since November. So that's 2 months. She's only made $250. Despite sometimes spending upward of 8 hours a day creating, posting, and promoting her content. What did everyone say that I interviewed about OnlyFans? Is that it's like a full-time job. You're spending long hours. You want to get that money. You want to make your content A-okay. You gotta put in the money. You gotta put in the hours and all that stuff. You gotta put in the work. It's the same thing. It's like building this platform. It's what we do. It's what we do for comrades. It's what I do here on HAP. Like, you got, in order to build your platform, because this is social media. OnlyFans is social media. It's all social media. In order to build your virtual business, you got to do something every day. You got to work on it every day. She goes on and says that Miss Morocco also worries that her presence on the platform will make it more difficult for her to be hired for traditional jobs in the future. Yes, it will. Until we go to a society where it is social. And it's crazy how we accept all this weird shit. We accept all this other weird shit. And not just in society, but in the workplace, where people were discriminated for the longest time for being, just different, and I don't need to go into detail of the stuff, but people just being different and certain avenues and certain ways and stuff like that, right? You would think that being a porn star, or that even being a sex worker, again, I hate using that term, but that's just the term that it is now. Being a sex worker, you would think that being a sex worker, you would be accepted into workplaces, that you would be accepted in the professional field, in professional fields, and professional environments. I mean, because you got people like Lisa Ann, who's a very intelligent human being that actually, she was in the podcast game since day one. Day one, she's been in the podcast game. She knows how to talk, like she knows business, she knows all this shit. And guess where she started out at? The adult film industry. Again, people always have this notion that they're all just, idiots. Like, no, they're very intelligent people. It's just sometimes they have the option, they have the opportunity to use OnlyFans and sites like OnlyFans that are similar to OnlyFans. And now you don't have to be, a porn star. You don't have to be a celebrity to do it. You can just be some normal old 32-year-old woman and do it. I mean, I'm not here to change anyone's mind and say, oh, it should be accepted everywhere, anything like that. I'm just here to say, hey, if we're going to accept all this other shit over here, why haven't the professional, work environment accepted sex work outside of the workplace? But she goes on to say, if you're looking for a 9-to-5 job, they might not hire you if they find out you have an OnlyFans. Facts. She said, they may not want you if they know you're a sex worker. Well, that's kind of just what she just said. She says, no, she doesn't say, but an article says digital sex work can give the illusion of safety and privacy. Content creators can get paid without having to interact with clients in person, but that doesn't mean there aren't risks. Online sex work is a much more appealing alternative to many people than going on the streets or selling direct sexual services, said Barb Brentz, a professor of sociology at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. That said, anybody getting into this kind of work needs to be aware that there are dangers. Last April, a mechanic in Indiana lost her job at a Honda dealership after management learned she had an OnlyFans account. Creators can be the target of Doxing, a form of online harassment which users publish private or sensitive information about someone without permission. In December, the New York Post published an article about a New York City medic who was using OnlyFans to supplement her income. The medic believed that the article, published without her consent, would damage her reputation and get her fired from her job. That's interesting. That's interesting. Creators can also be subject to capping, a practice in which users take unauthorized screenshots or recordings and then share them elsewhere on the internet. OnlyFans creators have also received death and rape threats on social media. Which is, all right, obviously that's terrible. That's probably the most terrible thing you can do. With that being said, porn stars have been facing this kind of ridicule for decades. So it makes you think that Joe Schmo, or should I say Jane Schmain, off the streets, just because she's a 23-year-old teacher in Nevada and nobody knows who she is, you think she's just going to be able to just post her ass on the internet and people that know her won't see that? You know how many people are on fucking OnlyFans? You know how many people can take a screenshot from OnlyFans and make it like a random screenshot and do like a random hashtag on Twitter, and by the end of the day, 13 million people already saw it, or 130,000 people saw it? or 10,000 people saw it, 1,000 people. You catch my drift? This is the stuff that happens. And I'm not here to ridicule OnlyFans content creators. I'm not here to do that. I respect them. They're cool. But you got to think. You got to think at the end of the day, is this worth it? Is this worth losing people that love me? Because whether I think it's right or wrong, you're going to lose people that you love or care about, or that they love or care about you, because they don't want to see that. They don't want to see you go down that road. They don't want to see you do whatever. And again, I don't think sex work is this terrible road or anything. Yes, there's bad things in it, just like there's bad things in any fucking career field. But I don't think sex work in itself is a bad career. We've seen people use sex work to their advantages. Use sex work, whether they want to make a name for themselves, Mia Khalifa, and have self-esteem issues, Mia Khalifa, and then want to come back and they want to blame the adult film industry instead of thanking the adult film industry, Mia Khalifa. The adult film industry has done a lot for successful, not just women, but men, successful people, period, in the world. They have. You can look it up. And I'm not one of these loud hats on Twitter that just responds with "look it up, Google it." No. Hit me up. I'll send you some articles. I'll send you some statistics on how many successful people have had their toe, or hell, have stepped face first into the adult film industry and left it with better off than when they came than what they came in with. Whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental, whether it's spiritual, it's always something. It's always something that you can leave a certain situation or leave a certain predicament with. But OnlyFans is not all bad. Sex work is not all bad. I wouldn't even say most of it is. Because the people that we hear complaining about the adult film industry, complaining about sex work, either dealt with traumatic experiences, which you should be able to understand or at least respect, or you have people that have just been sour because they're not hot anymore, or they never were, or they have their own insecurities, something that maybe we can't even point out, but they have their own insecurities and they want to blame the adult film industry for it. There are people that have legit problems. I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and try and explain to everybody about every single thing that goes on in the adult film industry, because one, I don't know, because I've never been in it. But two, I'd be sitting here all day just talking to you guys about the ins and outs of sex work. And I don't need to do that. I'm doing this video to let you all know that there's good and bad to everything. Because on this channel, I have championed OnlyFans. And I will always, and not just OnlyFans the company. Fuck OnlyFans the company. But I have championed these content creators. Because in a time of need last year, that is exactly what happened. Everyone ran to OnlyFans. And they got to experience it for themselves. And I got to sit back and see that people are actually becoming successful by using this app, by using this website. But now I don't want to say now, because I've seen a bunch of stories like this ever since this time last year, about how some people just aren't making enough on OnlyFans. Some people have been, and especially after that whole Bella Thorne thing that happened on OnlyFans, oh yeah, you can kiss all of that goodbye. They grabbed everyone by the balls financially on OnlyFans now. That's the crazy part. But let me keep reading. OnlyFans content creators face not just professional consequences, but personal ones too. Miss Eisenberg has been keeping her account secret from her father, but knows he will find out and that she has gone public. I don't want to be ashamed or disowned, she said. See, that's another thing, man. You guys have to be ready for this shit. You guys have to be ready for the backlash as soon as you hit upload. Or if you go live or whatever. Then, But you guys know what I mean. As soon as you turn that camera on, pretty much, you better be ready for those consequences. I know I am. When again, I don't do anything bad or anything, and neither of you guys aren't doing anything bad. At least I hope not. But what I mean by that is people that you don't want finding out that you do what it is you do, or that you say what it is you say. Me, I'm a grown-ass man. I speak for myself. I think for myself. So if anybody wants to say anything to me or do anything to me, you go right ahead. That just proves my point. That people don't fucking listen. But there are things I believe everybody gets in these situations where they don't want things to be seen, or they don't want things to hit the wrong eyes, I guess I should say. And you know what? You just got to accept it, man. You got to fucking accept it. You already did it. You're doing this for you. You're not doing this for anybody else but you. Or your kids or whatever, if you have those. But 9 times out of 10, you're doing it for yourself. Because you need the money. Or because you love to do it. All of this stuff leads back to one thing. And that one thing is everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be heard. Trust me, I get it. I'm talking about a guy that's on 2 podcasts. So yes, I would say yes. I like putting my opinion out there. Yes, I like being seen. I like being heard. Yes. But at the end of the day, the difference between doing a podcast and the difference between OnlyFans is that you are showing yourself naked. You just need to be okay with knowing that people have seen you naked. People now know what you look like with no clothes on. People now know what you look like with a dildo halfway up your asshole. People now know what you look like gobbling down a zombie dildo. We all know. But you should be okay with that. And I'm not here to say, oh, you go, sis. I'm not here to do that. But what I am here to say is that it's not, the grass is never, I can't say never, but the grass is not always greener on the other side. But nor should that stop you from trying to test the grass on the other side. Especially if financially you need it. But again, you don't need me to tell you that. Others say the experience has been empowering. Melanie Hall, a single mother of 3, earns $13.30 an hour as a paramedic in northern Ohio, barely enough to cover her bills. She started an OnlyFans account in December. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I never thought anyone would pay to see me naked, said Miss Hall, who's 27. It's been a confident boost. She has made about $700 so far, not enough to change her life, but enough to make the holidays special. This is the first year I didn't have to choose between the electric bill and Christmas presents for my kids, she says. This is the first year I've been able to do it all by myself. Well, congratulations to you, Miss Hall. But there are some women out there that were not able to do stuff. Like this woman here, that Miss Morocco, who only made $250. Or how about the other lady, Miss Eisenberg. How the fuck you say her name? Miss Eisenberg, who only made $500 on OnlyFans since October. October to January, only made $500 on OnlyFans. Now let's go over here on Twitter. Look at some of these comments. Vibrant Memory says, can someone please enlighten me why more people struggling to find a job don't try enlisting into the Air Force or military in general? So many careers offered: housing, medical, a jump start on life, ... Why don't they try that out? And then they go on to say, I mean, I know some people are like, well, the military isn't for me. And it's still better than degrading yourself just to live paycheck to paycheck and still barely getting by. You can be so many different things in the armed forces. How do you know? All right. I'll answer this. I'll answer that with this. Not everyone should be in the military. I hate that sentiment. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do. All right, I'll just go to the military. I fell into that trap as well. Don't do it if you don't want to do it. First of all. So that's the whole military thing. I don't need to go into all that shit. That's my only advice for that is if you don't want to actually do it, don't fucking do it. Do not commit your life to doing that. Don't commit the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years of your life to doing that. Yeah, you don't do it. All right. Now, to actually answer their question about the other stuff about, there's people, it helps you get a jump start in life and blah, blah, blah. Try it out. Let me tell you something, man. There's other stuff you can do. And I hate when people have this notion of, oh, there's nothing to do, so just go and be a policeman or go and be a firefighter or do that. Like, no. Do what it is you want to do. Now, am I saying that the way I look at OnlyFans is, at least when I first heard about OnlyFans, which was a couple years ago, I was like, okay, that's cool. It gives, porn stars another thing to do. But then as we started seeing people that weren't celebrities, that weren't porn stars, that weren't, sex workers, period. And they started getting OnlyFans. And then you started seeing people promote it. And you started seeing it just everywhere now. Like, it's almost like everyone has OnlyFans now. And then people started getting banned or something like that, or shadow banned on social media from having OnlyFans on it. So then they created Linktree. And now Linktree is you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, they're trying to tell you, and again, I'm not saying that OnlyFans is bad, but they're trying to tell you that if you do not have a plan, be careful with OnlyFans because it might hinder you from being able to have a public job. It might hinder you. I just read you guys an article maybe 2 months ago on here about how women can't even in some counties, or maybe some states. I think that means in some states here in the U.S., you cannot have any naked pictures on the internet and be a teacher. Period. Now, obviously, you can lie about it and say you don't have any or whatever, but if they really want to do some digging, they could probably find something out about you on OnlyFans. They might find you on OnlyFans. And if they do, your ass is grass. And I'm not saying that because it should be. I'm just saying that just because it's the truth. It's a fact. That's not my opinion. Don't take it from me. Because again, I champion not the company OnlyFans, but I champion the content creators on OnlyFans because it does give people that needed money last year and still need it. Hell, still need it. We ain't got no vaccines yet. Not everyone. Not that we should anyways, but you know what I mean? We're still not back to quote-unquote normal. So until then, I assume there's a lot of people out there that will always need money. That still aren't able to go back to their public jobs. I mean, think about people that work for concerts. People that worked for, these stadiums and arenas that haven't had one event in almost 12 months. What about those people? Because trust me, at first I was like, OnlyFans, like, look at all these people doing OnlyFans. But then I had to think. I had to sit back and actually think about it. Like, yes, they could be doing something else. Yes, there's all these other jobs out there. But at the same time, it all depends on their situation. Maybe there's not that many jobs that they can do and many jobs for them in their area. Maybe there's not that many opportunities like there is in the quote unquote city or something like that. You know what I mean? So again, I took way too much time on this. I wanted to get to some more comments, but again, I'm trying not to make this, and plus it's nothing but OnlyFans creators on here just showing their OnlyFans links now. So now it's just, yeah, there's a whole bunch of OnlyFans content creators now posting selfies under this thread and threatening New York Times. I feel like New York Times gets threatened like at least like 3 times a day, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, I've spent way too much time on this, guys. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Please, while you're in here, hit that like, hit that subscribe. And remember, the first rule to OnlyFans is you don't talk about OnlyFans. I'm Corn. I am me. This is Hap, and I'm OUT.